survive, the man split a bullet in half and poured out the gunpowder inside. He then gathered some dry twigs from nearby and laid them over the gunpowder. To ignite the pile of twigs, he placed another bullet on top of the gunpowder and hit the bottom of the bullet with his knife. But 10 minutes passed and the gunpowder still wouldn't catch fire. If this continued, he would surely freeze to death. To focus the force more directly on the bullet, he positioned the knife against the base of the bullet and struck the handle with a stone. This quickly did the job. The twigs instantly caught fire from the gunpowder, and Mike finally felt some warmth. But the danger wasn't over yet. Half an hour earlier, one of his arms had been hit by enemy fire. If he didn't remove the bullet soon, he would die just the same. Mike gritted his teeth through the pain and cleaned the wound with liquor. What followed would be the most agonizing minute of his life. After hesitating for a moment, he finally found the courage to insert the knife tip into the wound. After digging for a while, he managed to pull out the bullet. Since he had no gauze to dress the wound, he heated his dagger in the fire until it reached 500 degrees, then pressed it against the wound. This would cause the wound to scab over quickly and prevent infection. However, the scent of burning flesh was picked up by the enemies chasing him. Mike could almost hear the sound of their horses' hooves growing louder, so he dared not rest for a second. He intentionally left footprints in one direction while heading in the opposite way. Then he used branches to cover up the tracks in his true direction. Since Mike was extremely weak at this point and had no strength left to keep running, he could only hide in a nearby tree. Unfortunately, the enemies weren't fooled. The enemy leader was very cautious and saw right through Mike's trick. He and his men split up in different directions to track Mike down. Soon, one of the enemies reached the base of the tree where Mike was hiding. The man even spotted the marks Mike had left while climbing the tree. To make matters worse, blood from his wound had accidentally dripped onto the ground. The man was certain that Mike must be hiding in the tree. Mike didn't want to just sit there waiting to die, so he quickly drew his dagger and aimed it at the man below. The moment the man looked up, Mike let go. Just like that, the man was struck by the dagger and fell dead. At that moment, Mike also lost his grip and fell from the tree. Luckily, the man's body broke his fall, so he wasn't hurt further. But Mike still couldn't let his guard down because the sound of his fall had already reached the enemy leader. The man quickly gathered his companions and they all began heading toward Mike.